SmackDown took place tonight in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and there was good news before the SmackDown aired because it's been revealed that SmackDown will no longer be a 3-hour show. It's going to be 2 hours now, and that starts in 2 weeks. So next week's SmackDown will be the final 3-hour show for the foreseeable future. I don't know if it'll revert back to 3 hours once it's WrestleMania season, but good to know SmackDown's going back to 2 hours. Now, this show started off how it always does. You see wrestlers arriving in the arena. One of the people we saw who was already there was Alexa Bliss, and I wanted to bring this up because she's feeding Lily what looks like a Timbit, and of course Lily, a doll, can't eat the Timbit, so Alexa eats the Timbit herself. I just thought that was pretty cute. And we saw Asuka, her opponent, arriving as well. LA Knight heads to the ring. He calls out Seth Rollins, but Paul Heyman comes out instead. Fans booed Seth's name when Heyman brought it up. They cheered for OTC Roman Reigns, and then they cheered for CM Punk. He threatens LA Knight. Knight responds by calling him a grifter, a scammer, a deceiver. All true. Ask any of the ECW talent how they feel about Paul Heyman, especially when it comes to their financial situations. He says some other labels as well. Then he challenges Heyman, but he gives Heyman a free shot, but Heyman runs away. Paul then says something bad's really going to happen to LA Knight, and that turns out to be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed coming out. They beat him up, but then LA Knight fights him off with a steel chair. Backstage, Paul Heyman talks to the two of them. Byron Saxton's trying to interview them, but Braun Breaker barks at him, which was actually really funny. Byron says it's LA Knight against Bronson Reed later tonight. Alexa Bliss is out to a big pop, as she always is every single week. I was wondering about Alexa if she's going to show up on Raw, which is in her hometown of Columbus, Ohio, this Monday. Out comes Asuka, who made her return this past Monday, and we have Alexa Bliss and Asuka semi-final Queen of the Ring match. These two are both former tag team champions. I thought this match was fine. It was pretty good. They got This Is Awesome. I don't know if it was that good, but fans are into it. And then there's just this weird spot. So Alexa's on the top rope. You think she's going to hit Twisted Bliss, but for whatever reason, she just pauses and she doesn't do it. I think Asuka was just too far away, and Alexa didn't think she could make it. So she jumps down, and then they have this series where I'm guessing Asuka was going to catch her with an armbar after Alexa was supposed to jump. But instead, they do the series anyway. Alexa gets both at the Twisted Bliss for real this time, but Asuka gets her knees hopped and she hits a running hip attack and gets the win. I don't like the running hip attacks. It looks like shit. I much rather prefer her winning with the Asuka lock, which is one of the best submissions. So I was thinking Charlotte was going to interfere, but how they went about it later tonight, it actually makes sense because that's not where they're going, it seems like. Backstage, we see Jade Cargill, Mishin, and BFAB all watching on a monitor. Byron Saxton interviews Jade Cargill about facing Roxanne Perez on Raw this Monday. Backstage, we see Alexa Bliss walking. She looks dejected from her loss to Asuka. And then Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest all mock her for her loss. Chelsea says she should have been there in Bliss's spot instead. And then Charlotte comes in. She actually stands up for Alexa. She goes after Chelsea. She challenges her to a match later tonight. Alexa tells Charlotte that she doesn't need her help, and clearly they're building up a faction between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I bet both of them want to do it. They're probably both good friends in real life, but I wasn't expecting a tag team. I thought we'd get a feud. I thought we'd really see Charlotte versus Alexa Bliss at Evolution. I think Charlotte's the only 4 horsewoman, only member of the group who, or they're not really a group. I mean, 4 horsewomen, we all know who they are, but Charlotte is the only one who Alexa Bliss has never actually beaten before, so I was thinking maybe Alexa can beat her at Evolution, but we're not getting that. It looks like we're going to get a tag team between the two of them. In the ring was Kit Wilson, who, I'll be honest, I'm surprised still has a job. Aleister Black is making his entrance, and R-Truth jumps Kit, destroys him, puts him in the STF. Then he calls out Cena, and Jamie Noble and several of the agents have to calm him down. Backstage, R-Truth is still mad, and Aleister Black confronts him for ruining his match. Damian Priest appears and he calms the situation down. He tells Truth to focus his anger on John Cena instead of random wrestlers. Cody Rhodes is out next. Before he can talk, Jey Uso comes out to promote their match on Raw. Jay brings up their history. Then Sami Zayn comes out next. He talks about Jay and Cody finishing their stories, and now it's time for him to finish his. I would love to see a Sami Zayn story arc where it's paid off when he wins the title at WrestleMania 42. I think that would be great. Then Randy Orton comes out next. He says Sami will be champion one day, but not at SummerSlam. Unfortunately for Sami, Randy was proven right. Because we had Randy and Sami, and very good match. Randy won with the RKO. He won clean. And I guess the SummerSlam cash-in with Sami was too obvious. People were pitching the idea of Sami winning King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, and then he goes to SummerSlam, beats Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship, or maybe Goldberg. Just kidding. But beats Gunther, then Seth cashes in on Sami, and then you have Sami chase Seth, and then he wins the Rumble and defeats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania to win the World Heavyweight Championship. That would be a great story arc, but they're not going that direction. I really hope they finish the story at Sami, though. I will say that. And that's what they were talking about in that segment. But, we didn't get it here. Randy won, and I just hope Sami gets his moment in the future. Nia Jax was heading to the ring, and then when she's out, she's still mad at Tiffy, and something was wrong with her voice. I bet she was sick. She must have had a sore throat or something, or something was up with her voice. Tiffany comes out next. They go back and forth. They will face next week again. Nobody wants to see this. This is the feud that will never end. This is the longest feud ever, and they're going to have a last woman standing match. That's obviously bait for Naomi to cash in Money in the Bank. Tiffany charges at her, but then Nia beats her down, hits a couple leg drops, poses with the championship. Naomi comes out with the briefcase ready to cash in, but Nia Jax stops her. Clearly, they're going to do that next week. I don't know if it'll be successful, but Naomi's going to have a role in that last woman standing match next week on SmackDown. That's not at Night of Champions. Chelsea Green's out next, and then Charlotte comes out, her opponent. We get this match. Fans are behind Chelsea. Not a surprise. Match wasn't very good. I like the Asuka-Alexa match better, even with that weird spot in the middle with that twist of bliss. Just Chelsea's not very good. And Charlotte still looks a bit rusty. She's not herself ever since that knee injury. She just isn't the same performer. Chelsea taps to the figure eight, and then the Secret Harvest beats down Charlotte. Alexa Bliss makes a save. She beats down Piper and Alba, and then she hits his sister Abigail DDT onto Chelsea Green. Alexa Bliss then offers to shake Charlotte's hand after she stood up for her backstage, but Charlotte blows her off and refuses, so we're eventually going to get a tag team between the two of them. I guess that's where we're going. Maybe it's Charlotte and Alexa against the Bellas. Maybe that's the match the Bellas are going to do. I don't know what's going to happen at Evolution because the Liv Morgan injury just turned the whole card into a tailspin. Sent the card into a tailspin. Everything is up in the air now. I don't know any match we're going to get. It seems to just blew up the whole card. It's an unfortunate situation. Solo Sikoa was talking to JC Mateo. He was wanting to attack Jacob Fatu. Solo told him to not do it. And I'm just thinking, as the show's going on, I can't wait for it to be 2 hours again. The 3 hours are just dreadful. I hate SmackDown at 3 hours. The show feels like an eternity. Maybe it's because I watched Raw and Raw and NXT this week, not live, so I saw the condensed versions. It went by a lot quicker. This 3 hour SmackDown just felt long tonight. I'm not going to lie. Solo Sikoa is out next. He calls out Jacob. Solo tells him that he loves him. Jacob says Solo used him. He challenges Solo to a U.S. title match, and then Solo and JC beat down Jacob after Solo went for the Samoan spike, but Jacob blocked it. JC comes out. They both beat him down. Jimmy Uso made the save, but then they beat down Jimmy, and Jimmy just looks like such a geek, such a loser here. But Jacob recovers, and the two of them retreat. I was thinking we're getting a tag team match maybe next week. That's not exactly what we got. Bronson Reed's in the match in the ring for his match with LA Knight, who comes out next. We get Bronson Reed, LA Knight. So early in the match, Braun Breaker speared LA Knight, causing a DQ. He hits another spear, and then Bronson Reed hits 3 consecutive tsunamis to LA Knight. So Heyman was telling him something bad was going to happen to LA Knight. That's what it was. They destroy him tonight. Jacob cuts a promo backstage about facing Solo Sikoa at Night of Champions. R-Truth is out next. And then John Cena makes his entrance in Lions colors, Detroit Lions colors. He's wearing blue and silver. Cena hit Truth with the belt on the ramp earlier in the match. He got disqualified, so that was it. That just feels like that's the end of their feud. CM Punk runs out to the ring, and then Cena hits a low blow on Punk, then he hits him with the belt, and then he brings out a table, hits Punk with the belt again, and hits an AA through the table and leaves him laying. And I was thinking, wow, that's strange. If something else is going to happen, we still have 10 minutes left. The show just needs to be 2 hours. But after Cena hits the AA through the table, Punk is left. Cena gets a mic, and then he sits on the top rope, kind of like how Punk sat crisscross on the stage while Cena was laid out on a table. Who, by the way, that just happened to be R-Truth. That legendary pipe bomb in 2011. Oh, it's the 14th anniversary of that. That's why they did it now. It was 14 years, almost exactly to the day. And I think it might have been exactly to the day, 14 years, June 20th, 2011. I don't know exactly the date. I feel like it might have been the 25th. I remember getting out of school, I believe. That was the last day of school or something. And then that's when Punk cut the promo. And that was me in high school. I'm pretty sure that was when it was. It was exactly this day because it was here in Canada we have late school year. So I remember it was exactly this time. Punk interferes in the table match between R-Truth and John Cena. Truth puts Cena through the table, and then Punk cuts the legendary pipe bomb on the stage. This time, it's Cena Truth. Cena lays out Truth with the belt. Punk comes, Cena just beats up Punk, lays him out, puts him through a table. So Truth's gone. Punk is lying through a table. Cena gets on the top rope, sits on the top rope, and he cuts a pipe bomb on CM Punk. Wow. This was something else. This was definitely a great promo. Easily the best thing John Cena has done since turning heel. He laid into Punk. I can't remember everything he said, but he called Punk the biggest bullshitter in the world. He says Punk changes his values as much as Cena changes his T-shirts. He just mentioned a whole bunch of shit. He says Punk's a capitalist. He sold out to TKO, basically. That's what he was saying. And they took Punk's balls off. He's just ripping into him. He mentions Claudio Castagnoli, that's Cesaro. And then Matt Cardona, he mentioned a whole bunch of indie guys. He mentioned one other guy, I forget exactly who it was. But he's really ripping into Punk here, and it's really entertaining. It was a long promo, again, I forget everything he says. Fans were chanting for Cena at the end. They're really into him. It was kind of like when he destroyed him on the mic, and the fans were behind Cena. John Cena's the best, man. This was just an amazing promo. One of his best promos of his career. I'm not lying. It was that good. John Cena, man, he's something else. This was an awesome promo, and it really got me into the match. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the match next week at Night of Champions, and that's how SmackDown ended with John Cena cutting a pipe bomb.